Take a breath, Patriots Nation, because things just got real today. There's a behind-the-scenes move that could change the defense's trajectory, a medical situation that put the fan base on alert, a game plan tweak for the biggest test of the season, and a veteran proving he's still a cornerstone. Nothing obvious, nothing recycled, just facts, context, and that touch of boldness we love. No filter, always. Are you ready to face the truths most people won't say out loud? You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, smash that like button, and let's dive straight into the news. The trade window closes on November 4 at 4 p.m. ET, and there's a team skidding to 0-4 that looks like a heavy seller. The question echoing through Foxborough is simple and explosive. Is a surgical move for a pass rusher in peak form worth it without blowing up the future? Hold that image and imagine the immediate impact. Multiple fronts, quicker pressure, and a domino effect that makes life easier for the secondary without changing the base structure. Because when you add a closer who also shifts spots in sub-packages, the defense becomes less predictable and the opposing coordinator's internal clock starts to wobble. Now we can talk about the name setting every back-channel conversation on fire. The name lighting up the board is Carl Granderson. He opened 2025 scorching hot 4.5 sacks in the first 4 games, and constant disruption in protection schemes, even as his team sank. The appeal isn't just production, it's the fit. Granderson is that edge or 5-tech who slides to 4-eye or 3-tech in nickel without losing burst or leverage. That speaks directly to what Mike Vrabel is installing. Multiple fronts, versatile pieces, and calls that don't telegraph intent. The contract helps a ton. It's not enough to play at a high level. You also need to fit the cap and the roster-building philosophy. Granderson is on a 4-year, $52 million extension signed in 2023, with recent restructures compressing the near-term impact. For 2025, his cap number with his current team sits around $6.482 million in a mid-season trade. The acquiring team essentially absorbs the remaining base salary because prorated bonuses stay with the original club. Translating that to our reality, you can bring in high-end production while spending very little cap now, preserving flexibility for complementary moves and avoiding a 2026 squeeze. It's the kind of bet that raises the ceiling without kidnapping the plan. Market watch, of course, the market is hot. Buzz points to Lions and Cowboys sniffing the same opportunity, and competition always nudges the price up. There's no public report of direct talks between the sides yet. This is board reading that connects production, seller context, and crystal-clear schematic fit. Using recent comps, Montez Sweat cost a second-round pick, while Von Miller moved for a second plus a third. Granderson likely lands in Day 2 territory, an R2 or R3 with conditionals tied to snaps or production. The smart question is whether that ticket is worth it for someone who helps immediately and still fits financially. When the divisional rivals window opens on Sunday night, a rush threat who shortens the quarterback's clock can be the difference between surviving their script or writing our own. On the field, the picture is straightforward. In base, Granderson at 5-tech opposite Keon White, with Barmore and Williams rotating between 4-eye and 3-tech to lock gaps and set up stunts. In nickel, Barmore and Williams inside, with Granderson reducing to 4-eye on pressure calls, opening lanes for B-gap twists, late safety pressures, and two-way reads. It's exactly the upgrade that shortens the defense's learning curve, deepens the rotation, and by extension protects the secondary by cutting down the QB's decision time. If the idea is a surgical move, not all in, this package delivers higher ceiling and steady floor. The risk sits in the price and the bidding war. But the fit with Vrabel, layered over what's already there with Barmore and Milton Williams, puts Granderson's name near the top of any responsible board in Foxborough. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. Because what's next changes how we see Sunday night altogether. If fans were already dreaming about an elite reinforcement for the defensive front, the next shock came from the health front. Anxiety spiked when Milton Williams' name popped up on the DNP line of the practice report. It's no exaggeration to say he's the heartbeat of the Patriots' new front. He's the engine that frees Christian Barmore to attack gaps and turns a unit that used to react into one that strikes first. But a bulky ankle can completely reshape the most anticipated game of the season so far. The detail that sent everyone into a frenzy was simple: a second straight absence. That's not just rest, that's a real concern. There's one more practice before the trip to Buffalo, but uncertainty around his status has opened a huge debate among fans and analysts. Can you hold up against a physical Bills attack without Williams? The answer isn't simple, so here are the possibilities. Tactically, if Williams can't go, Corey Durden becomes the immediate replacement. The veteran has shown reliability against the run, with 5 total tackles and 1.5 run stuffs through 4 games. But let's be honest, in the pass rush, Durden doesn't bring the same burst or backfield penetration Williams does. The drop-off would be noticeable and could force Vrabel to redraw pressure packages or put Christian Barmore on more snaps than ideal. The risk is burning your best penetrating DT before mid-season. There's another side to this story that can't be ignored. Williams spoke to the media the day before, and the tone was gladiator level. "These are the games I live for," he said, sounding like a man who has zero interest in missing the chance to shine under the Sunday Night Football lights. Anyone who's been around knows that's not the language of someone ready to sit. It guarantees nothing, but it reinforces the image of a player who will do everything to be out there, even if it means playing through pain. That kind of statement hits the locker room emotionally. Meanwhile, other names appeared on the list. Jalen Hawkins and Calavan Chason returned in limited fashion, which at least signals progress. Both are key rotational pieces, especially against an offense like Buffalo's that forces you to defend every inch of grass. The fan base can breathe a bit easier there, but the eyes will stay glued to Williams and ankle and the clock. Across the field, the Bills aren't unscathed. Cornerback Dorian Strong was listed as a non-participant due to a neck issue, and he's coming off a standout outing against the Saints with an elite coverage grade. If he's out, it could open a rare seam in Buffalo's secondary. That balances the uncertainty a bit and doubles down on how every detail in this week's prep could decide a divisional showdown that promises pure fire. The truth is, Patriots Nation will spend the next days gnawing their nails waiting for any update on Milton Williams. With him, the defense walks in confident. Without him, the game becomes a roulette wheel of adjustments and improvisation. And while we hope for good news, another factor starts to dominate the Sunday night conversation. Is the offense ready to turn the opponent's weakness into a sledgehammer? If the defense's drama wasn't enough to churn your stomach, the offense arrives to spice up a historic Sunday. After dropping 40 last week on the Panthers, confidence is high, but the real exam starts now. Sunday night football on the road against the team that's ruled the division for years and arrives undefeated. This is the kind of game that separates teams that are just excited from those with the ammo to play real January football. The equation jumps off the page. Buffalo's defense is crushing passing games to start the season, yet it shows a near glaring vulnerability against the run. We're talking 160-plus rush yards allowed per game, second worst in the league. For any offense with a cool head, that's the kind of weak point you must hammer without thinking twice. The doubt is whether the Patriots have enough consistency in the backfield right now to convert that opportunity into real advantage. The dilemma begins with Ramondre Stevenson. He's still RB1, but he's coming off an up-and-down stretch, and this year already has costly fumbles that rattled trust. Against the Steelers, the ball came out twice and practically handed the game away. Since then, his snap share dropped, and Mike Vrabel seems intent on a more aggressive rotation. Enter rookie Trevion Henderson. Drafted high, he's seen as the future of the position, but so far he's been more steady than explosive. 0 runs stuffed at the line, but no true game-flipping big play either. He's at 3.7 yards per carry, modest production for someone billed as an immediate weapon. Even so, there's a glass-half-full view. Henderson keeps you on schedule and sustains drives. Against a vulnerable interior, that might be enough to control tempo and give the defense oxygen. Add Antonio Gibson as the complementary piece, and you've got a committee capable of grinding the front if the offensive line creates the right creases. And that's where it really gets tough. Buffalo knows the ground game is coming and will likely load the box to force May into tight window throws against a top-3 secondary. The rookie QB already showed poise in past matchups, including last year against these same Bills, but this is a trial by floodlight. May can still find explosives, especially off play action, by punishing a front that overcommits to the run. But for that to work, the ground game has to be humming first. In practice, the script reads like an ultimatum. Either the run game finds consistency now, or the Patriots will spend 60 minutes trying to survive. Josh Allen and a defense that loves to suffocate inexperienced quarterbacks. Sunday Night Football doesn't forgive hesitation. It's a stage for coronations, but also brutal exposure. And if you thought that was the week's biggest storyline, brace yourself, because a homegrown veteran is reminding everyone his narrative is far from over. Amid all the chatter about reinforcements and tactical tweaks, one name keeps proving time doesn't dull his edge: Hunter Henry. He arrived in 2021 during that famous shopping spree, and 4 years later, despite non-stop turnover in personnel, coaches, and philosophies, he remains not just a starter, but a central piece of the offensive plan. That says a lot. To open 2025, Henry leads all skilled players in offensive snaps and in targets. 24 passes have gone his way through 4 games, turning into 24 yards and 3 touchdowns. Keep that pace and he tops his first-year totals in New England, when he was a machine of consistency and security for the quarterback. And it's no accident. With Josh McDaniels back as OC, the rhythm they built in 2021 has snapped right back into place. McDaniels didn't hold back, praising Henry's intelligence, competitiveness, and above all, leadership in the room. Understand the weight of that on an offense filled with young talent, rookies fighting for roles, and a quarterback still cementing himself as the face of the franchise. Having a tight end who knows the system, never disappears in big moments, and sets the practice standard is practically a treasure. Henry became the glue that keeps the group steady and the confidence high, even when adversity hits. On the field, his influence goes beyond the box score. He's the trust target on 3rd and short, the escape valve when protection collapses, and a legit red zone threat that forces defenses to roll attention his way, that opens space for younger receivers and keeps extra defenders from clogging the box against the run. It's no coincidence. McDaniel said those guys are irreplaceable, underscoring how Henry is vital not just to execution, but to the offense's culture. For fans, seeing Henry still at a high level after the franchise's ups and downs in recent years is a reminder that certain pieces can form the foundation of a rebuild. While the hype centers on May, the rookies, and even trade speculation, there's something quietly powerful about relying on someone who delivers week after week. The message is clear. Hunter Henry isn't just another veteran. He's a pillar of this new Patriots team, a leader on and off the field who shows why some signings criticized in the moment ultimately etched their mark in franchise history. And with that blend of present and future explosive youth and reliable experience, the Patriots enter the biggest test of the season so far. Take a breath, Patriots Nation. Today we mapped the plan and lit the fuse. An elite target on the market who fits the budget, uncertainty around Milton Williams that can turn into fuel, an offense that must turn Buffalo's weakness into a ground game escape hatch, and Hunter Henry as a lighthouse of leadership. That's how you flip a narrative in October. Now I want to hear from you. Would you pay a day 2 pick for a pass rusher in peak form? Should Henderson take the bulk of the carries? Drop a comment, hit like, subscribe, and share with a fellow fan. Sunday is a statement.